Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, hi again. So this is my channel. I love to do all kinds of DIYs on a budget. I also love to do thrift flips, and I also love to make wreaths. So if you like what you see here, remember to hit that red subscribe button. Also leave me a comment. I love to hear what you guys think, and give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel. You can also find me on Instagram and Pinterest. Those links will be down below. And also, Krista's Wreath Designs is my new Etsy shop. I sell wreaths. You could check me out there as well. This is all about Life's a Beach. So it's all about beach themes, DIYs. And my co-host this month is Crafty Hints. I'll be more about that in a minute. But first, my first DIY. I got this DIY inspiration from Hobby Lobby, that piece you see right there. And what we're going to be making is one of those, not quite the same, but something close to it. I'm using some scrap wood from the Dollar Tree. I'm also using these pallets from the Dollar Tree and some paints. This is my Waverly paint in the color Truffle. And I'm just going to color that one piece that you see here. And then we're also going to do the pallets as well. I'm using 5 pallets, sorry, to spell beach. And we are going to just paint those as well. And then you'll see me come in with some other paints once I get these all. Now, I did every part of these palettes. It did take me a bit because there was a lot of nooks and crannies that you had to get your paint into, but it was worth it because this turned out so good. So next I came in with my plaster in Waverly as well. And I went over this with a heavy dry brush on the front and then a light dry brush on the sides and then the back. And then I also did another palette with the same color, chalk paint. And then we're going to do a different color for the other 3. So first I show you these 2 that I did. And I just made the front part of it with a heavier coat because you're going to see in a minute what we're going to do with the front of these. And then the next colors I come in with are 3 different blue colors. One is a lighter blue and the other 2 is one's like a medium blue and one's like a darker blue. They're all folk art paints. But I do dry brush the backs as well as the sides with the paints as well. And here's the other blues. So now one is Dolphin, another one is Caribbean Bay, I think, or Caribbean Bay, something like that. But I'll make sure I leave it down in the description box below so you could check out what the colors are in case you're interested in getting the same ones. But like I said, one is really light, one's a medium color blue, and then one is a little bit darker, but they're all like beachy colors. And then this is the darker one. I think this is with like either an aqua or a Caribbean. Can't remember though, but like I said, I'll have it in my description box down below. And then I did the same thing with these as well. I did a darker dry brush in the front and then lighter on the sides and then the back. So now with that long piece of wood, what I did is I did that in plaster and I dry brushed it. And this one I just dry brushed, however to my liking. You guys do the same thing. Dry brush is just dipping your brush in oh so very lightly and then kind of brushing it down on your paper towel to get it so that it's not so dark. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking this rope from the Dollar Tree. It's jute twine, but it's got wire in it. And I'm making the letters B-E-A-C-H with it. And we're going to glue those on the top of each one of these pallets. So basically just like the piece you saw from Hobby Lobby, that is basically what I'm trying to do here with this. Now I found it easier to use this type of jute twine from the Dollar Tree because it has the wire in it, so it's easier to make the letters, and it's also easier to glue down. It's also easier to, not have it be so bulky. So I really liked using this, and I just use my wire cutters to cut it, but you can also use your scissors, a pair of like really good sharp scissors. And now I'm just going to do the E, and I I will tell you that when you do cut this rope with the wire, you do want to make sure that you use a little bit of hot glue on the ends to make sure it doesn't unravel, because it will unravel. And then what I did is I did the A next. And as you can see, I'm just going along here and doing each letter. And after I get the letters done, then we're going to glue them on top of that piece. Instead of this being a hanging piece, I wanted it to be able to sit up on my shelf. So that is what I did instead of hanging it. But you could make this a hanging piece as well. And then I did the C, which was the really easy one to make. But actually these are all really easy to make because the rope has the wire in between it. So it really helped to be able to form the letters a lot easier. And I did like that it was a thinner rope as well. And then the last one, of course, is H. And it all just really came together really nicely. I absolutely loved making this. It was so easy. It was tedious a little bit, but it came out looking so, so nice. So after I get the H done, then what I do is I just start gluing everything down to that main piece. Oh, yes, but first I came in with some Distressed Oxide. This is a stamp by Tim Holtz. And what I did is I took a makeup sponge brush, but you can use any sponge makeup brush that you have. They use for arts and crafts. They have these at all of your craft stores. And all I did was come in and rub a little bit on the piece of jute twine, because what that did is it brought it out more on the palettes and with the color behind it. And it just made it really pop, and that really made everything so much better. But I mean, you could use any color you want, but this is the color I chose because I wanted to have that age look. And this is Aged Mahogany, the color is called, and that is the type of look it gave it. So, but you could get this at Hobby Lobby. They have this color stamp pads. And then what I did is I did use some wood glue, and I also used some regular hot glue, and I glued them down completely to the bottom of the piece of wood. Sorry, my dog is driving me crazy right now, you guys. He wants in and out, and I'm trying to do a voiceover, and it's really hard to do a voiceover when I'm trying to pay attention to him at the same time. So sorry about that. And then I just glued them all down. And now what I did is I decided to come in with some of these clips from the Dollar Tree. One has has a seahorse on it, and the other one has a starfish. And I just glued those on where I wanted, you know. I mean, this is totally, you know, optional. You could do whatever you want to decorate your piece, but I just decided to come in with these. And then I took some of these little shells that come in a bottle from the Dollar Tree as well, and I stuck a few of those down in the corners of the each part of the sign, and there it is. So here it is, guys. I hope you guys like it. Please let me know which one you like the best in the comments. So yeah, today is all about Life's a Beach. These are the lovely ladies who co-host with me. Mostly all of them are with me every single month. We absolutely love doing this for you guys. So go over, show them some love. I have the playlist down below. My co-host is Crafty Hints, but these ladies are just so, so talented. So now on to the second DIY. I'm using a Seahorse from the Dollar Tree, some shells, some paint, some netting from the Dollar Tree, and then of course I'm going to use these same colors throughout the video, these blue colors that you're going to see. So the first one is, this is Dolphin. This one, I know this one because it's light, and I'm going to do, like, one color is going to be a beach color. I think it's called Beachcomb or Beachcomber or something like that. And then this one is the Dolphin, and I'm going to go every other one on the Seahorse. because you could see it looks like a little bit of shiplap, so I wanted it to look really cool. So I decided to do these in 2 of the colors. I wanted it to look really beachy, so these are the colors I went for because this is a beach themed collab that we're doing right now. So I went with this really light tan beach color. Looks like a sand color, and I really love this color. It's so pretty. And I did this to every other one like I told you. And then I'm going to come in with my paint marker, and I'm going to go over the C lettering that's on here. And I just used my white paint marker that I have, and you can use any paint marker, or you can use, you know, your paints, whatever you decide. I just found this was a lot easier to try and go over it with a paint marker than me try to do it with a paintbrush, and it worked out really, really well. So after that, then I came in and I dry brushed. Now I'm doing the opposite with the dry brushing. So I'm going over the tan color with the blue dolphin, and then some of the white paint by Waverly. And I'm just doing that with every other one, just to give it a distressed look and make it look kind of rustic and worn a little bit. And this really turns out so, so pretty. I love it. And I just love the way it turned out. And for Dollar Tree products, you guys, this stuff really came out really looking nice and high end. And it's not, you know, too much during the year that you get to do beach stuff. So this is really fun to do. And to make new stuff each year is just, you know, I mean, if you use Dollar Tree items, you can make it look so high end. You can do this every year. You could come up with new stuff, you know? So I really enjoy doing this. And then I just come in and I just keep dry brushing with these 3 colors. I just keep going back and forth and alternating all the way down. And then I came in and I sanded a little bit just to give it a little bit more of a worn look to it. And where I went a little bit darker with the dry brushing, I just sanded a little bit harder to get it a little bit less. And now I have this netting from the Dollar Tree. This is actually with the tiki stuff that they have at the Dollar Tree. And I doubled this because the holes in the netting are really, really big. So I'm like, if I put the seashells in here, it's not going to stay. So what I did is I took the netting that these starfish were in from the Dollar Tree, and I actually used that first. So I glued that down to the back of the horse first. And we're going to actually use one of those starfish as well for the front. But I glued that down, and then I left it open in the front so I could put my seashells inside, and I didn't have to worry about them falling through. And then what I did is I just put the netting that was, you know, a little bit more, and I just kind of overlapped it twice, and then I just glued it onto the other netting, you know, just little dabs of glue here and there just to hold the netting down. And I did that on the front, and then of course I glued it to the back once I got all my seashells in. And these are just seashells that you get in the bag at the Dollar Tree, and they have all kinds right now. They have ones that are just all white, ones that are all these different colors like these ones. They have little ones, big ones. I mean, they have so many different varieties of seashells that you could get at the Dollar Tree. So make sure you go and get your shells from the Dollar Tree, because you do get quite a bit in a bag, and it's a lot cheaper than the craft stores. And I just stuck as many as I thought, you know, I wanted. And I stuck in different shapes, sizes. And then I put one of these white ones in to kind of like it, you know, kind of stick out a little bit more. And then I just kind of glued that one down so it would kind of hold all the other ones inside and they wouldn't fall out and on the top. And then I do come back in after I get this all situated. I do come back in with a few small ones that are in those bottles that you get from the Dollar Tree that you saw in the previous DIY. And I do stick a couple of those in the front as well. And then I just cut the extra netting that I didn't need. And then I just kind of glued it in the back so that it would stay. And I used my little makeup tool, silicone makeup tool, to press down because I didn't want to burn my fingers. And yeah. And then I just came in with a few small ones. There it is. But you're going to see in a minute, I'm going to change it a little bit on the bottom because I didn't like that you couldn't see the seahorse's tail. And I wanted that to kind of stick out a little bit. So once I put the starfish down that I got at the Dollar Tree as well, I stuck these little seashells up at the top a little bit coming out of the little netting that I did. And then I do stick a couple of the little ones up where the hole is because I wanted this not to be hanging. I wanted it to be sitting up on a shelf. So I wanted to hide the little hole. So once I put those in, then I decided that I wanted to show the seahorse's tail, like I said. So I just cut a little hole and then I just glued it behind the netting, a little bit behind it, so you could see the tail sticking out now. And I thought that looked much, much better. And then I just stuck a couple of these little ones up top just to cover up that hole. I think I did like 3 of them. And it all kind of went great together. It just turned out so, so nice. And I love the way this one turned out too. You guys, I really don't have a favorite in this video, but you guys will have to let me know which is your favorite because I really like the way all of these turned out, and I am going to have them all up at my house. So yeah, there it is. I just love it, you guys. So pretty. Look at that. I mean, it looks so high end. I just absolutely love it. So now on to DIY number 3. Now this one I like too. And this one I got that shadow box from the thrift store for $1.99. And then I already had all this scrap paper and stuff that I got a long time ago when I used to scrapbook. It's from 49 and Market. And they have just such pretty, beautiful scrapbooking paper. And it was really high end. But what I did is I came in and I put some painter's tape down first for the glass because I didn't want to, that glass did not come out of this shadow box. And then what I did is I painted the whole thing with that beach color paint. And now I'm going to come in and I am going to dry brush it all with my brush. And I'm going to do it all the way around the edges a little bit darker first. And then I decided to come in with my little brush and do it. It was a lot easier. And I just went around the edges a little bit darker with my brush, and then I went around real lightly around the whole thing on the front, the sides, top, and bottom of this shadow box. And then I traced out the scrapbook paper that I wanted to use, but I mean, Hobby Lobby has all kinds of scrapbooking paper, so you really can go pick something there as well that looks something like this paper that I have here. And then I hot glued this down because this is a canvas piece that's on the backing, and I wanted to make sure this was going to stay stuck, and it didn't give me bubbles. It stuck down just fine because this paper is really thick that I'm using. So this scrapbook paper is kind of like cardstock paper. It's really thick. And I just glued it all down. And then just to give it a little extra something, I had this sand that I bought last year at the Dollar Tree, and it's got a little bit of blue in it in the sand, and I liked the color of it, so I decided to make a little sandy beach scene on here with the paper and the sand. And what I did is I just put a whole bunch of glob of hot glue down at the bottom, and then I just kept gluing it, reusing, you know, whatever fell. I just put a piece of cardstock underneath, and I just kept doing that over and over again until I got the bottom of the picture frame all filled nicely with the sand and everything. And then once I got that all done with the sand, then what I did is I actually went on the inside of the shadow box as well, and I put sand on the bottom of that as well, just to make it even look more sandy, I guess, more like a beach scene. And this worked out really well, and I didn't get the sand everywhere. So this technique I was doing here with the paper really worked. So I didn't really waste a lot, and I didn't spill a lot. So and then I took some of the seashells again, and I took some bigger ones, and I wanted it to stand up inside of this shadow box, so I stuck it down in the sand, and I put some glue on it, and see how it just stood up nicely with the hot glue. So that worked out really well. And then I took some smaller ones and I put those all along the bottom as well of the shadow box. And those, you know, you could see through the shadow box as well. I mean, this little picture shadow box that I got was like so good for $1.99. I mean, always check your thrift stores. That's what I say. Always check your thrift stores. So then I have a bunch of this ephemera that went with this scrapbooking kit. So I decided to use it because I figure I don't scrapbook anymore. So what else am I going to use it for, right? So I use up what I have, and I put a little seahorse I had and a little whale, and then I had all of this seaweed stuff and coral and some jellyfish, and I had this little mermaid too that was so pretty. So I just stuck it all in there. I said, let's do it. Let's just make it look so cool and make it really look like a water, you know, like it's in the sea. And then I had these little bubbles that actually look like bubbles, and I stuck them on there. And you guys, this turned out so pretty, so cute. I love it. And I mean, I'm displaying it in my home. I think it looks so great. And I live in Florida, so this type of decor really goes well for Florida. So it's I just love doing this type of stuff. So what I did, and then I just stuck it in there and closed it all up, and there it is. And then just to give it a little extra something, again, I stuck 4 seashells in the corners of the outside of the shadow box. And that was it for this DIY, guys. That's all I did. And there it is. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, I love it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And now on to DIY number 4. I actually have 5 this time, guys. So this one was scrapbook paper again that I got from Hobby Lobby. I had this board that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and then of course that fish was from the Dollar Tree. So what I did is I took the scrapbook paper, and I love this wood. That's why I got it, because I knew I could do something with it from Hobby Lobby, even though I knew I wasn't going to use it for the dinosaur on it. So what I did is I just traced it out, and I know there's shiplap in this, so don't worry, we're going to make sure that we see that. And I covered it with the scrapbook paper. Now, I did have to piece the end of it because the scrapbook paper wasn't big enough, but that was not hard to do because this paper was very, you know, it wasn't really that I had to, you know, put it exactly. So I took my nail and I just ran it down where that shiplap was, right? Where the cracks were in the wood. And then I used my my little knife, and I just started to slice it down in those edges. And I made sure I didn't go too fast, and because I didn't want to rip the paper. And then I ran my nail through it, but I mean, you can use anything, butter knife, whatever you have. And then it had one shiplap going across sideways there from left to right, so I decided to do that one too. And then I put the excess paper that I had on the end. I just cut a piece off and kind of figured out where it needed to go. And then I took my nail file. This is a really good nail file because I wanted to get in between those, you know, that part that I cut. So I just, the nail file worked perfectly. And this is a really good nail file from the Dollar Tree, you guys. And then, sorry, my footage got cut off, but I used the same ephemera I used on my other one that you just saw. And all I'm going to do is stick these on some of these pop dots, they're called. They're like little foam pieces, dots, and they're self-adhesive, but I also stuck some glue on them to stick down the ephemera pieces because I wanted it to look 3D. And then I stuck this little piece that I had of wood that was actually a piece of coral or seaweed, I don't know, and it was on one of the Dollar Tree ones. I just popped it off and stuck it on here. And then that metal piece, that fish, is from the Dollar Tree, and I just took it off of the, they're real easy to take off of those metal pokes that they have on them. And then I just stuck some styrofoam self-adhesives on that, and then hot glued it down. And I made my own little water scene on this piece of shiplap wood that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was really cheap. I think I only paid $3 for it. And there you go. This was super easy too, you guys, to make, and I love the way it turned out. And then I had these little bubbles, same thing as the other one, and I stuck them on here so it looked like the fish was doing bubbles in the water. And these are also self-adhesive, but I want to make sure they were going to stay stuck down, so I just hot glued them too, just for that extra support. And yeah, and that was it for this DIY too, you guys. Super easy. And these ephemera packs and all these packs, you can find packs like this at Hobby Lobby, Michael's. They have all kinds of scrapbooking pads that you can make your own little stuff with. And there it is, you guys. I love the way that one turned out too. So here is number 5. This is the last one, you guys. So this one, I took this tag sign from the Dollar Tree. Those mermaids are from the Dollar Tree, the tails. And then I had some more scrapbooking paper and some other little ephemera pieces that I had from the scrapbook. This was actually a pad that was a mermaid pad that I got from actually Hobby Lobby, you guys. So they do have them. So I decided to color the outside of the tag with like the outside perimeter of it with the aqua, it's called deep aqua or something like that, but I'm gonna leave that list down there for you for these colors. And then I dry brushed it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color white, and I just went along the edges and just dabbed it with my, just tapped it with my brush, and then I went in and actually dry brushed the whole outside of it. And I left that middle part just the way it is. And we're going to make another water scene. Why not, right? That's the theme here. So what I did is I took that scrapbooking paper that you saw that looks like a mermaid's tail, and I just fussy cutted it out to fit these little mermaids. And you get 3 in a pack from the Dollar Tree. And then the tail part I did with another different scrapbooking paper that came with this pad. And it's just a mermaid pad. And I think they still have these at Hobby Lobby. They have them like every year in the summertime. And then I just glued with my glue stick on. And these glue sticks work just as well as Mod Podge, I think. I don't know. They just don't leave bubbles, and I like that. And then I did the tail of the mermaid. And this was really easy. I only used one of these, so, and they come 3 in a pack of the mermaid tails. And then I used those ephemera, same thing. Now this ephemera came with the actual mermaid pack of scrapbooking paper, so it all comes together. And then I used some of those styrofoam square pieces that are self-adhesive to kind of pop them up because I wanted it to look a little 3-dimensional. And I just stuck those on the back of all of these little pieces, except for the mermaid tail, of course, because that was already wood. And then what I did is after I finished that, I did the same thing with the other ones. I stuck some bubbles on this as well. So this turned out super easy to do, as were the other ones. And then I just hot glued the mermaid tail down to the top like that. And then I took some of those bubbles again. And these little bubble packs, they actually have these too at the Hobby Lobby. The craft stores carry these as well because I have seen them. So if you're looking for them, you can also find them at the craft stores. And then I just hot glued them down to make sure that they were in there properly, stayed down properly. And then I just used some nautical rope and I stuck it in the top portion of the little tag. And that's it, guys. So I hope you guys like it. Please don't forget to go check everyone out I will have all the links down below with the playlist. And I want to thank you guys for watching. And remember, stay crafty. Bye.